Babe, wake up, new Panda Talk just dropped. Hey everyone, what's up y'all? Before we get on to the first video of 2021, I just want to make a few quick words. Last year I uploaded 41 videos and 42 if you include the 2020 Monstercat year-end mashup. And though I've slowed uploading since my 2016 daily upload days, I've really wanted to refine my passion for video making. So for this year, you might notice a couple of changes here and there as I get back into the video making game. As always, I just want to say thanks to everyone who has stuck around and continues watching my videos. I have big plans this year as we approach 8 years of being on YouTube, and I hope that this year we can do some cool things. Anyways, let's start off with the Panda Talk. Oh, one small change to the Panda Talk. I got tired of the animated backgrounds, and I know that just in general, videos do better when I'm in them, so hello. I hope you guys like this change. Excuse the hair. I haven't been to a barber in like months. My brother recently cut it though.
I like it cut, G.
Shout outs to my brother. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about a few things. It's a video idea that I've had in my mind for a while now, and it's one that I've gotten recently reinterested with. I'm sure you can all think of at least one YouTube channel that you used to follow years ago that used to be really big, and maybe you still follow them. Music YouTube channels used to rake in millions of views back in the old days. One would even say that they were the titans of YouTube. For upcoming artists, it was definitely the meta for them to get onto a YouTube promotional channel. NCS, 99 Lives, Trap Nation, Dubstep Gutter, Monstercat, UKF, Proximity, Electronic Gems, Mr. Suicide Sheep, you get the picture. If you got yourself onto one of the titans of YouTube promotion, you are guaranteed yourself at least a couple 100,000 views really quickly. That was until YouTube changed their algorithms to prefer longer form content. Since then, music-based YouTube promotional channels began to see their success slowly fall, but the change was not immediate. In fact, when the change was made, a lot of YouTube promotional channels continued to grow in spite of the change. A lot of people falsely believe that YouTube preferring longer form content was a more recent change, but this change actually was firstly implemented back in 2012 and was slowly refined over the years. However, the change did eventually settle in, and though there are a lot of music promotional channels that continue to post music content, a lot of them are not performing as well as they were back in the days. The goldmine of views and recognition that YouTube channels got from posting music is long gone. But, contrary to popular belief, these music channels are not dying. Now, a lot of what I'm about to say is mostly speculation, but being a YouTuber myself and being somewhat in the music scene, I feel like some of my speculation does have some grounds for making sense. So I think it's safe to assume that I won't be too far off, or at least that I will give enough of a warning in areas that I'm not confident in. So, for these music promotional channels like Trap Nation and like Mr. Suicide Sheep, the money they made is not so much on the music that they are pushing out now, but rather on the back catalog of music they have already uploaded for the past decade. If we look at Trap Nation, all of their most recent videos are gaining around 150,000 views, with some breaking past. For a channel with almost 30 million subscribers, I can already hear the keyboard warriors going mad typing to say that the channel is dead and washed up.
Like this post if you remember Trap Nation in 2016.
What most people don't see though is that Trap Nation is raking in over 100 million views a month. Over the course that I've been a YouTube partner, I've had an average RPM, or rate per mille, which is essentially the amount of money you get every 1,000 views, of 69 cents a 1,000 views. And no, this is not a funny number meme. I literally have an RPM of 69 cents. Now, it should be noted that my RPM should actually be lower, but as somebody who live streams occasionally, whenever I receive a super chat or a new membership, which you guys should consider clicking down below, the RPM will artificially increase even if it's not necessarily because of ads that are playing on my videos. For the sake of this demonstration, we will be ignoring that though. With my RPM of 69 cents a 1,000 views, Trap Nation would make around $70,000 a month just on the views that they make every single month. Same with Mr. Suicide Sheep. If you take my rate and take their views, they would make an average of $41,000 a month in just ad revenue, even though both channels literally average around 1 to 200,000 views a video. Now, it should be noted that there are a ton of external factors that we haven't accounted for. For example, how many of those videos have been copyright claimed? How many of those views are actually monetized? To artists? Is it channel run by salary? Whoa, that was a lot of factors. But all of these things aside, for most of these music channels, it's safe to say that they're doing well off for themselves, which is great, but I don't remember asking. We didn't come here today to talk about the music channels, but rather, what about the artists that make the music? The inspiration for this video came to me recently because I remember back in the day when I was a little wee boy, It always seemed to me like it was a huge achievement to be on these big YouTube music channels, whether it was a promotional channel or a YouTube record label like NCS and Monstercat. But as I've gone into the industry and grown and come to understand things, though there are still big achievements, it does appear that depending on the music channel that you get onto, the benefit you may gain may not be as significant as it was a few years ago. So what now then? If YouTube channels are the old and dead meta, what is the meta? Well, I have two metas. They may not be easy, but understanding them is the first step in opening a picture as to how music flows within the industry. The more important of the metas is playlisting. Meet Spotify. Now, if you know me, I don't like Spotify. What is wrong with it, you might ask? Did they slap me in the face? Did they throw an egg at my house? No, I'm a filthy free-to-play gamer, and because of that, Spotify is the absolute worst platform to use without paying for a subscription. Literally unusable. But that's besides the point. I can make a whole video on why Spotify is literally a terrible platform for not only the listeners and users, but for the artists. The reason we're going to be talking about Spotify today is about their playlists. Spotify has 6 types of playlists. For the sake of this video, I'm only going to be talking about 3 of them, but if you're interested in all of the semantics between the 6 playlists, I will include a link in the description which you guys can read and do some more info on. Back in November of 2020, I actually became a Spotify artist myself when the team over at Rushdown liked the mashup that myself and my buddy Silver Skies made of their color-based dubstep discography. It was my first officially released and licensed mashup, and it was an awesome milestone to hit. In the lead up to the release, I got a ton of emails from the Spotify artist team, essentially giving me a bunch of info on how to use the platform and how to navigate their site. On Spotify, playlists are the meta. The first and probably the most popular playlist is the Algorithmic playlist. Basically your release radar and your discover weeklies. Those are created by bots that package a personalized playlist to the music and tastes that each individual user has on their platform. When an artist asks you to pre-save a track, to like their track, to share it, or to even follow them on Spotify, which you guys should definitely follow myself and Silver Skies on Spotify, links in the description. It's these little things that allow the algorithm to see that a song and an artist is not only doing well among this group of people, but could potentially do well if they started slotting into other people's algorithmically based playlists. The second type of playlist is a user playlist. This is basically any playlist that anyone makes on their entire site. Though you might be wondering why a generic user playlist might have anything to do with anything and succeeding, user playlist does not only include the average Joe Blow on the website, but also includes music industry professionals, A&Rs, tastemakers, and even large artists that maintain their own playlists. This is where making connections and getting your songs out to different playlists is key in getting people to find your music in other areas of the music world. If you can get yourself into a popular and curated playlist, then it might be an easy way into getting your music heard by more people. But the third and most important playlist are the editorial playlists. If you're on Twitter or on Instagram as much as I am, you've probably seen a post like this and thought to yourself, who in the world is Austin Kramer? Meet the guy behind some of the biggest editorial playlists on Spotify in the dance music scene. Austin Kramer has a rather extensive history in the music world, and while I don't actually believe he even works at Spotify anymore, one can easily see that he's had a lasting impact on a lot of artists, not only up and coming, but established in getting their music into the right places to be heard by the most listeners. To name some of the playlists that Austin Kramer has had his hand in inputting, he's been credited towards getting artists slid into playlists like the Bass Arcade with 830,000 likes, Friday Crate Diggers with 318,000 likes, Power Hour with 2 million likes, and probably the most notable playlist, the Mint playlist, with more than 5.5 million followers. These editorial playlists are basically the cream of the crop for getting your songs blasted into as many ears as possible. When it really comes down to it, playlists are essentially the poor man's promotional channel. There's no visuals, there might be a little bit of branding, and there's no cringe YouTube comment section. Just a heck of a lot of people that really want to listen to music in that playlist. Now, getting your music into an editorial playlist is a lot easier said than done. Getting onto YouTube promotional channels nowadays has very great short-term benefits, like a lot of views. But by the next day, they've already uploaded another song onto their YouTube channel, and unless you've gotten yourself to be notable enough that people keep coming back to your song, it's going to be forgotten as more songs are uploaded. Nowadays, if you're getting yourselves into the right YouTube promotional channels or YouTube music groups, and record labels, there's a high chance that there might be people within the group that could point you into the right hands. It's no surprise that people within certain music groups all happen to know Austin Kramer. Just as an example, as just a connection of somebody who can get you into where you need to be. I'm gonna quickly turn over the subject to SoundCloud. I'm not very familiar with playlists on SoundCloud, but very recently, our Monstercat year-end mashup actually started trending in the new and hot playlist for dance music and EDM. So while I don't actually know if this is even a big achievement on the SoundCloud side of things, I still want to give a big shout out and thank everyone who has continued to support the mashup, and especially a bigger shout out to everyone who has supported, reposted, shared, liked, and whatever, everything, the mashup on SoundCloud. We get number 43 in Australia, number 23 in New Zealand, 15 in Canada, and number 9 in the US. So huge thank you to everyone who has continued to show their support. So yeah, to wrap up the video, YouTube channels are no longer the meta. While they can definitely offer a great starting block into moving on to bigger and greater things, relying on YouTube promotional channels are no longer sufficient into a long-lasting career, and dare I say were never ever that beneficial to begin with. Streaming services like Spotify have been investing so much money into developing their algorithms and creating these playlists. And even more now, with these highly exclusive editorial playlists, Spotify has essentially just been generating a huge following on these playlists for people to follow and to essentially keep their eyes open as to when new music is going to drop in that playlist. I guess one could even say that they've essentially manufactured fame on Spotify by getting into these playlists. This to me is the biggest telling that playlists are going to be the meta for music distribution and sharing, and not only now, but in the future. For those of you who might remember, I actually used to have a CD swap playlist myself where I would share music on YouTube of just cool songs that I found that I wanted to share. As much as I want to continue the CD swap playlist series, YouTube has just never been the right platform for that kind of content. I've actually been maintaining the CD swap playlist series in a song of the day format on Instagram, and I'm going to try to bring it over to Discord and as well as Twitter. If you guys are interested in checking out the playlist, I have a playlist of just cool music that I find, and I update it every single day with one new song. You guys can find the playlist on SoundCloud and on Spotify. This will probably be the last time that I acknowledge CD Swap in a YouTube video, so if you guys are interested in keeping up with it, I definitely suggest just checking out my socials and seeing what's up. Anyways, this is going to be the end of the video, but before I end off the video, I did say there were two metas. The second meta is definitely more reserved for the hardcore though. So, has anyone ever just tried getting TikTok famous? I mean, literally Y2K and BB No Money did it, so it can't be that hard, right?